Cardfight Vanguard Finance Show is back in action with some help from our sponsor, the Magic Satchel. And here to talk to us today, not only about his fabulous store, but also about some card prices, is Ken from the Magic Satchel himself. Ken, how you doing today?
Good. How about yourself?
Fantastic. And of course, to move through the rest of this introduction, you know it couldn't be a new season of Cardfight Cash without our boy, the Irish God, Keith. How are you doing?
Doing grand, Ryan. I kind of wanted to do a Robin Williams "I Live" introduction to there.
Now you have to replace it with Will Smith references.
Well played, well played.
Well, hot off St. Patrick's Day, the Irish God is here to talk to you about some green, as it were. So let's hop right into Cardfight Cash and give you all the rundown on our new format and the newest price fluctuations of this cardfight market. So, just to talk to you a little bit about this show now, Standard has been out for quite some time, 9 months now, if I'm not mistaken, and the market has finally caught up and started developing. We're out of, every card is the same price, nothing particularly interesting happens in Standard. Premium, sees nothing but downturns or slight buyouts in, certain valuable cards. Now we actually have a bit more of a mature market, and we can restart this show with new vigor as we move into our new format, which is going to be a bi-weekly Standard and then a premium show on the off weeks. So every 4 weeks, it's 2 Standard, 2 premium, just so you're up on the latest price points of both formats, as both are actually pretty fun to play right now, so especially if you're a gold player. So let's get right into it with the very beginning, and that is Q4. That's right, your original 4 main character clans are seeing an uptick, and this is one valuable set. Tiz, why don't you start us off with what you saw when going into, pricing out Q4 this week?
Yeah, so something we commonly see when I was looking at Q4 is things continue to rise. SVR prices are around the 40 to 45 mark, depending on which SVR you're looking at. But Blaster Blade IMRs are up to 30, which is interesting because back in the day they were 12, 15, slowly crept up, and now they're 30 apiece. We see just the regular VRs, King of Knights at 21, Waterfall 20 to 22, Imperials at around 19 to 20, depending on who you're buying from. Draconic Overlords steady at around, this is the OR by the way, this is steady around 22. The Blaster Blade OR, once again, another card, another Blaster Blade that was like $10, now up to 30 to 35. So that was cool. Miss Mist coming from a whopping 50 cents all the way up to 8.50. She was 11 at one point, now she's back down. Berserk Dragon at 9 to 9.35-ish. You have the Royal Paladin Draw Trigger, holding solid at around 670. The Kagero Draw PG, 550 Soul Saber Dragon. He's been kind of a wild card up and down, but steady at 575 right now. And then Twin Blader at 350, coming from the grave at 10 cents a piece.
Well, it does seem like Q4 has the value, and all my smart, blingy investments are still holding true. Good news for the Doombringer Griffin. And it seems like people have finally decided to play Royal Paladins after 6 sets of support. It's almost as if they're not going anywhere, and that tends to help with investment. I don't know why these cards didn't see these sorts of prices in the first place. We're talking about IMRs, of which there are, 3 at this current point in the English meta. And, that's something we've never seen before, and yet people were like, $12 for Aichi's pretty face. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that I can attribute this to is, you saw when set 14 was releasing, and even the Bermuda Triangle set after that, and then they release all the information about rebooting Vanguard MV, all the prices just bombed because people were like, what is Bushiroad doing? This is crazy. But those who stuck it out are now able to cash in.
And aren't you all out there glad that you did stick around for not only Team Absolution's wonderful waterfall of content, but also for those waterfall prices? And now, moving right along from Q4, we have EBO1. Now, I believe we've got some confirmed set out in the distant future, but how well do you think these cards will hold up anyway? And I think a lot of the public out there agrees with me, considering the only value card in this set is General Seafried at $17. Machining Mantis is a not-so-close second at $7.85, and everything else is garbage. I mean, if you like your high rarity and you're planning on playing or investing in those clans later, pick them up now. I think this is buy time for EBO1 stuff.
Yeah, I mean, taking a step back and looking at EB01, it has had its ups and downs. You had, the Tachi VR, your Gigarex up at 22, and then drop all the way down to like 15 to 12, and then your Seafrieds that went from 12 to 15 all the way up to 20, and this is kind of one of those sets where going into it, it felt really bad, and it still feels really bad today. But once that support comes around, you're going to see these draw PGs automatically go up to $5-6. You're going to see, the Mantises maybe go up even a little bit more. Machining Hornet is going to go from like a $2 card all the way, up, depending on if it gets replaced or not, which I'm thinking it'll stick around. So, this is kind of a longer-term investment for EB01, and so I would tell people, if you have these cards, just try and hold it out.
Yes, hold it out so you can make sure to make $20 on your Mega Colony. Now, Keith, actually, with these three clans being the pinnacles of consistency, in a sense, how do you feel about actually using these clans now while you're investing, as that is one of the many things we get to do with pieces of cardboard, is play games with them? Do you think that it's worth even trying to play any of these clans right now?
I think, Ryan, if you are comfortable with bringing this to locals, I think this is about the power level and competitive level. I think the advancement in the power creep has kind of advanced past these decks at this point. A lot of the stuff that's come out recently, particularly in Miyagi, we'll see it in Vilas Deleter as well. Destructive Roar has kind of fallen behind a little bit in that regard. The decks are still great, very consistent. I still think that Spike Brothers is one of the most well-designed decks in Standard, but it's just not able to keep up with the sheer pressure that a lot of the other decks have, like Angels, Shadows is another great example. I'm trying to think, Murakumo, obviously. There's just too much really strong stuff that is just consistently getting support for the Destructive Roar clans to really fight for the locals level. But if you're trying to go into a large bushy regionals, let's say, I think you're going to have a bad time if you're looking to top 8, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. Yeah, wouldn't it be something very card gamey to have, like, this is the most well-designed deck Bushi's put out. It sucks. You can't top with this. Thanks, Bushi. But moving straight on from that, we have a little bit something, the next newest set, EBO2, Champions of the Asia Circuit. It looks like the high rarity stuff is on its way up. Maelstrom VR kind of in the middle of the pack at 26.30 with its SVR at 38. Tidal Assault OR is 28, and for what's widely considered to be one of the worst Excel clans, these guys are getting some bumps in prices. Keith, have you seen any meta shifts recently that would suggest Aquaforce, justify these price increases, or is it simply the support that's been announced?
Oh, it is 100% the support, Ryan. There's been, I think, one locals top for Aquaforce in Japan.
Oh, no.
And that has been the only top that I have seen for Aquaforce. Maybe there was something in the recent ARGs or Pro Play games, but I am fairly confident that there wasn't. I've been fairly up and up on the meta recently. This is definitely 100% a hype prices.
And hype
because,
to
we
what
all
end?
saw another Smart that also just looks bad, in my opinion. But there's another Maelstrom, so little Maelstrom is going to go up in price.
Yeah, you got that right. How do you think they're going to handle these cross rides, essentially, that are coming out, yet have nothing to do, or don't have the cross ride mechanic?
That's going to be an interesting one, because we already have Draconic Overlord the Great, which, although he wasn't originally a cross ride from the Legion era, But it seems like he is going to have some sort of overlord requirement. I feel like it's just going to be something to the effect of Soul Blast, a Maelstrom grade 3, or Soul Blast, an Overlord grade 3, or if you have said unit in the Soul. But I don't think it's going to be like a power boost like the old school cross rides used to have.
Makes sense to me. It especially helps that they're already all cross-ride power level anyhow, so who cares?
Mm-hmm.
And just to finish up our talk on EBO2, these cards are starting to see the same effects of Q4. The draw PGs are gaining a few dollars in price, with Dimension Police still being at $1. Hey, that might be something nice to pick up. Ruin Shade is $4.20, plays it. And everything else is sitting pretty cheap. So if you're, interested in Dimension Police or Grand Blue support in the distant future, now's a pretty cheap time to enter. Aquaforce is pretty much just trending towards hype. I advise staying away from it unless you see these prices going up $5 or $10 more. Ken, what do you think the projections on this Aquaforce hype is?
So, of course, you'll see that Maelstroms are immediately going to jump up, and they actually have been selling at 25, which is kind of interesting. Tidal Assault ORs, they have been up for a while. Even the Algos SPs from the trial deck, they're high because people keep, buying them out because, the trial decks aren't going to be around forever. Mainly, pick up cards that are still cheap. Pick up Diamantes. He's $3, because he may go up to $7, $8. He might just be a staple, and that's going to be a card that you wish you would have picked up at $3. Pick up the draw PGs while they're still cheap, because those are definitely going to go up. Try to pick up some of the cheaper cards and hold on to them if you feel like you want to build Aquaforce, if you feel like this clan's going to get enough support to be meta-worthy.
Mm-hmm. I think Ken brings up a really great point about the draw PGs, because it's finally starting, like in original Vanguard, the PGs were one of the big limiting factors for building a deck, where they used to be, $20 to $30, unlike the main character one. They're all starting to creep up. The Q4 ones, I think, are the biggest example, like Miss Mist, almost coming up to $10. But all of those ones you are going to need 4 of in your deck, and they are basically one of the easiest and soundest investments you can make for a Vanguard deck in Standard.
That's absolutely right.
I totally agree. Like, when you look at it, there's no reprints in sight besides, like, the special reprints in the latest set, Violence Later. So draw PGs are solid. Like, hey, if I pick them up for $1, even if they go up to $4, it's still a nice flip. So when you're doing your trades, when you're buying, buy these cards up while you can, because they will go up as Bushiroad does not print them and does not come out with a new PG mechanic.
Mm.
I mean, what could be better than trigger PGs?
Roar, especially, because those are still sitting at a lower rate. They're not up to the $8 range yet. We have the Spike Brothers one at about $1, the Tachi one at about $1. You could easily pick those up, a set of those for probably under $4.
Yeah, right about that. And, what could really be better than a trigger PG? So, unless they start putting them on critical triggers, I think we're all pretty satisfied with the current mechanics. So, unless they start reprinting them every time or something, or bring us back into archetype land, I think these are pretty safe for now. Let's talk about a set with no cheap cards. BTO2, looking like the pack to pull this time around. PBD, it's a healthy $43 a piece. Every OR, SVR, IMR above $30, if I'm not mistaken, except for, the DI ones. Nobody wants those. Zanbaku at $18 ahead of his, big power spike in Viola Leader. Zanbaku SVR, $39. Golden Beast Tamer at $16 before new support. Nemain at $9. Maclear at $3. Charon at $6. And it just seems like if you're making Shadow Paladins now, you're sad. Keith, how do you feel about your investment right about now?
It's finally starting to pay off. Oh my god, Ryan, was I worried about my investment in Shadow Paladins, because that deck plummeted in value when I picked it up originally. Even though I got a pretty decent deal, I was still, very badly in the sewers, I think, at that point with this deck. But I think, finally, the Shadows hype, because god, do people love them some Shadows. This deck is finally starting to reflect the value that it should, in my opinion.
It only took you 5 months to go from 0 to hero. Good job, Keith.
Yeah,
Proud
that's
of
right.
you and your
The long
investments.
play, right? It's always the long play when it comes to finances.
Is 5 months really a long play? In any case, not the point. Ken,
Yeah, I mean, and so something to note in this set is we're starting to see around this time now that second wave, third wave support's coming out as we speak. We're starting to see something which is really awesome, and that is certain triple rares. Like you look at Fushimi being at 350. I remember when that card was 20 cents, and people were saying how bad it is. And Purple Trapezist, who used to be maybe $1 going up to 362, and then the next one after that is $6. So you're starting to see these cards kind of creep up and just kind of come out of nowhere, and you're going to see it for clans that are going to get support a lot more often. So unlike Aquaforce and Mega Colony and all these extra booster clans, we already have confirmed support. Wave 3 and wave 8 for Royal Paladin now, but these clans are getting more support, and they're going to get it more consistently because they're part of the bigger main characters or sub characters or however you want to phrase that. So just keep your eye out on these cards. Start picking them now while they're low, because you really never know. I mean, somebody like Gwen, he might go up from 10 cents to being $3, and then you're gonna be like, what happened?
I think we're all like, what happened quite often, especially when buyouts come to town.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, let's talk about EBO3. Now, I haven't seen a whole lot of Standard recently, but I know the Neonectars are still strong, yet they seem pretty reasonable when compared to everything else in here. Azel's currently leading the charge at a 27.45, probably all those premium tops, with SVRs about slightly above that. Zeracule has seen an upsurge to 45, while her triple R is, or VR rather, is 24. And Cecilia at 21, with the Vivian OR getting up to 25. Do you think these gold prices, have only just started spiking, or do you think this is kind of where they start to come down now that there will be new premium stuff hitting the tables?
So, when you look at these prices for a second, you look at, the fact that Gold Paladin was labeled as, this deck isn't really going to do much in Standard. And even nobody really thought about it in Premium, from what I remember. This is actually pretty fun, in my opinion.
That's right. You probably got all the cards real cheap, didn't you, Ken? Easiest game of your life. But Angel's seeing an upsurge, just recently. I mean, you can still play it with Gize in Premium, and then there's still some Standard tops where it's considered one of the best Protect clans. Do you think these are going to come down with, just being out-supported in the near future? Keith?
Yeah, that's something I wanted to hit on, Ryan. Thank you for bringing that up. Is that the only one of these that has guaranteed support from EVO3 is Gold's, because they have the Miyagi Academy booster and the follow-up Miyagi Academy booster. Angels and Neonectar both do not have any slated support for the near future. Obviously, that'll change, but for at least, I would say, 10 to 11 months, these clans are going to be as they are. So any sort of power creep, these clans are going to start moving out. And I think as a result of that, the prices are probably going to start shifting downwards.
So hold on to your money, folks. It's going to get good.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, something to add here is Angel Feather is still one of the top decks in the current meta, and when the support gets announced, I would say pick up your Metatrons now, pick up the Trip Bar Grade 2, and definitely pick up those PG draws, because if you don't think Angel Feather is going to be top again, even if they slip for a set or two, you must be out your mind.
I love me some Angel Feather. And they never really disappoint.
I agree with Ken to a point on this one, but I think that the best point to invest in Angels isn't right now, but I think maybe 2 to 3 months down the line, like right before the next release schedule gets announced and we have official confirmation for Angel Feather. Now, I'm
just going to write that down so I can call Keith on it in 2 to 3 months.
Huh?
I said I'm just going to write that down so I can call you on it in 2 to 3 months.
Exactly, Ryan. Pull me up again when we go on the next Cardfight Cash. How wrong I was.
And moving right along, it's EBO4 time, and you're just disappointed. You just look at these prices, and you're disappointed. Leopold is, I mean, he's still a strong 1920. Nothing else is a strong 1920, except for high rarity. Mm-hmm. But it's high rarity. So if you want to get into these clans, it's pretty reasonable, honestly. You can put this deck together for 130, 140 bucks. It's a fun clan to have, but again, welcome to the no support train. Enjoy your.
Yeah. Question for Ken on this one. If I was someone that had invested in an Answer of Truth clan, should I sell right now since I don't have any announced support for any of these clans?
If you're not hurting for money, I would say hold on to these clans. The reason being is these clans are going to be very similar to EB01 Destructive Roar type clans. They don't have announced support as of right now, but when that support comes around, it's going to be few and far between, and these are clans that we've seen in G, in Limit Break Era, where when their support came, cards became insanely expensive for no reason. It didn't matter how meta-worthy they were. It didn't matter, how good the deck was compared to, everything else in the set. It was, hey, I'm a die-hard, Genesis player, and I want to play this deck, and now Himikos are going to go up. So I would say hold it for now. And if you did go into Great Nature, you may want to sell your Hamsukes, just because I feel like Hamsuke might actually get replaced. But that's total speculation. Right now he's...
Yeah, that's total speculation is what the people pay us for, or don't. It's YouTube. I mean, unless you whatever. So sell your Hamskays, hold on to everything else. That's the Magic Satchel's advice. And is he ever wrong? We're not going to say anything. He sponsors us. MB01, the set all my money went to, and Jose has yet to get in on. Let's talk about Exculpate, because he might just hold on forever. He is now a $31 VR. Remember when he wasn't that? I do. And his SVR actually got bought out pretty recently. Up to 400. Yeah, that's just scare tactics. He's 100 again. Don't worry about that. But still, $100 for this SVR. How much are my novels? I don't even want to look. I don't want to know how badly I spec'd on that one. But the full arts, the foils, they're looking good. $12 Royal Paladin full art, $10 as of today. People are noticing. $6 Kagero heals. Epina full art, $7. The full art foil triggers are finally back in action after being, what, $2 for a good while? Ken, what did you sell me these things for?
Yeah, I mean, this is a set that, one, wasn't really bought because people were looking at it and like, hey, what's Exculpate really do? And what are these triggers? Like, it's cool, but nobody really mass opened besides, like, maybe myself. And so you are going to see some buyouts, and you're definitely going to see some cards go insanely up. Like, Exculpates used to be around, like, 12, 15. Now they're pushing 30, and it's like, you just look at it and you go, well, I should have took that a little bit more serious, at least as an investor, or, bought into it while they were cheap.
And wouldn't that be nice to just always know? To just always go back and know that, $12 Esculpates, I'm going to make 3x on that. Give me those. Do 3 for 30. 3 for 30, Ken. Give me 3 for 30. Make $60. Easiest game of our lives if that were the case. But unfortunately, no. So, my last question for you, Ken, is with Violet's Deleter coming soon, out in the very near future, what do you think the sleeper card in here is going to be? What should people invest in if they're looking for a long-term, definitely goes up type play?
So, you're looking out of what we're covering today, or Violet's Deleter?
Looking towards the future, something to spec on very soon, when all the packs are getting open, everyone's trading around, when you have the opportunity to trade that 5-year-old kid at your locals a bunch of EBO1 stuff for whatever he pulls, what are you looking for?
I am telling you guys right now, anything Link Joker is probably going to be money. Especially the draw trigger, it's probably going to be cheap to start, and then it's just going to go up. Because you're talking, then you have the EB after that, and then the EB after that. So you have literally back-to-back Link Joker. So it's definitely something to take a look at. And something that wasn't covered in this is, for God's sakes, please pick up K and Betavirs at their current price, which are like anywhere from 4 to 5, because I feel like that card's, both of them, if they stick around in that deck, they're going to be insane.
There are ORs of one of those. Get that too. Alright, well, thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Cardfight Cash. We're going to be doing Premium next week, so if you'd like to know about that, please show up again at the same time. Well, this has been the Doombringer Griffin, the Irish God, and Ken from the Magic Satchel. Again, our sponsor. Please check them out. You can find Ken on our Discord under the name Tizskill, and he'll give you all those sweet, sweet deals to make those long-term investments. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll let the guys sign off. This has been the Doombringer Griffin. Peace.
Irish God.